Hit the button. Hit the button.
I hit the button. I think we.
Did we do it?
I think we did it.
Did we figure it out?
I mean, it says excellent.
Excellent. We did a good job.
We did great. Yes. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
What's going on, people of the internet who aren't quite here yet?
Yes. And if you're watching after the fact, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for showing up after the fact.
Exactly. So, this was just something we've been trying to do for a couple months now.
Mm-hmm.
First time we were gonna do it, but basically YouTube was like, "Hold on, guys, you can't do anything yet because you haven't signed all the paperwork to have live streams."
Yeah.
So then we got that done, and we ran into some hiccups, but now we're back and we're live. So This is fun.
And it's the end of the year.
It is the end of the year. For the upcoming year, we're hoping to do some real exciting stuff. We're hoping to have some more guest appearances. We've already got a lineup of people for the most part.
Yeah.
I've talked to a few. I know you've talked to a few. It should be good stuff.
Yep. It'll just be trying to get everybody on at the same time, figuring out how it'll look, how it'll work.
For sure.
That's the main problem. But not really a problem because we haven't had any issues so far. But we'll see.
And Christmas gave us some tech upgrades for sure.
Yep.
So that's been nice.
It has been.
So.
Been great. Hopefully I can fix the background issue that I have.
Well, it's super easy. You get one of these bad boys.
You get one of these these screens here.
Sure.
You know, they have a blue screen.
They do.
They do, but that would kind of be counterproductive too.
Yeah, this one has a blue screen as well, but I was scared Cade would disappear in the background, and that would not be good.
Yeah, or my eyes,
right.
Or my blue eyes just...
I would love to see that. Just
to see how that works. Like the void is taking over.
Right.
Bro.
Well, was there a topic you wanted to start out with? Because I meant to hit this button a while ago.
Now we have no idea.
Now we have a timer. We've been, talking in the ether for a minute here, but now we have 30 minutes on the clock.
Yeah. So what do you think of this year so far?
This year,
in terms, I guess, of life, but also like the podcast, like what you expected it to be.
Those are good questions. As far as life, it has been a difficult year for sure. There's been some ups and downs. I've had some great stuff happen, some not so great stuff happen.
Yeah.
But God has shown His provision through all of it. Just some things I can think of, I've had some car issues throughout the year, finance issues, but God worked it all out, and He continues to work these things out. As far as the podcast goes, it's doing a lot better than I really thought it would.
Yeah.
When we started, I thought maybe we'd get 3 views a video, which I guess where that's coming from is I live streamed for years on YouTube, made content. I didn't make a ton of content, but it just never really picked up. Now, granted, I know our subscriber count isn't very high at the moment, but the views we're getting on shorts, on the episodes themselves, they're blowing my expectations out of the water. Not that we've blown up to, big-time YouTuber standards, but This has been cool to see God use this platform for good. So I'll ask you the same question. How's this year been for your life personally, and how do you think the live stream or the podcast is going?
I think it's... I think I'll just repeat what you said. There's been highs and lows.
Yeah. For sure.
But it's just like any year. It feels like everything that's happened feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
But it's all happened this year. But then also all the good things that have happened have also... It just feels like the way time is, it's fast and slow at the same time. So it's hard to tell until you look back how much you've actually accomplished, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, it totally does.
Like the fact that I've already been working at my job that to me is new, but I've been working there a year, basically.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Hello? The wind chimes.
The
wind chimes of the Lord. And then as for the podcast, I really didn't know what to expect of it because I've heard people say how hard it is to get started.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody realizes, but with YouTube, you have to kind of earn your way in a sense to show that you're real.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just kind of block a lot of features and things, or unless you send them their ID.
Which we will not do.
We'll never send you my ID,
no.
YouTube. Who do you think you are? The DMV?
Right.
But that's been some trouble, like copyright stuff, learning about how that all works and everything. But it's been interesting to see the numbers being as high as they are, even if people are looking at it and then swiping on. the fact that people are even getting a chance to view it at all means there's a chance somebody's watched the entire videos that we've been putting out.
Exactly.
At least most of it, and that means that the gospel is being put out there.
Exactly. I don't know if you've seen our analytics recently.
No, I have not.
But as of this month, it's just this month, we've had over 1,000 views, and we haven't really been posting a lot this month.
Not really.
I think lifetime we're near like the 5K at least.
That's
There was a whole month we almost hit like 2. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, the videos are doing okay. There was one that didn't do great, but you know, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue we've had was since he and I don't live in the same town, we log into the account to check on emails and stuff, and there was a solid month where every Thursday, I think it was, we'd get an email, hey, your account has been banned. Listen, you can email us and we will get it figured out, but for now, you're banned. Not banned for life. You can go through the steps. And we were like, every week, like, hey, we're just simply trying to get this thing off the ground, trying to work through it. And it was an annoying process.
It was.
We finally figured it out.
It was. Yeah, we just have to not be in at the same time doing things.
We'll send each other text messages like, hey, I'm about to log into the account. Are you off? I'm like, yeah, I'm off. You go for it.
Yeah, hey, hey, I'm going to upload something. Don't also upload something.
Right. Like, don't touch anything.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's pretty interesting, the whole thing. And I'm looking forward to being able to use what we've learned to improve, figure things out. And I think we have figured things out a lot.
I would say so.
And hopefully one day we'll have an intro, we'll have cool like stuff like you would see with other podcasts. But as of right now, you know, it's just us figuring it out.
Yeah, that's something I'm in the process of. My dad was into video editing for years, so I'm in the process of learning how to use the Adobe, Premiere Pro?
Yes,
I think it's so. Premiere Pro. Basically, I'm trying to learn how to... the camera's in very for me. I'm trying to learn how to take our snippet. We do have an intro video that we could put in it. We're working on, like, audio for it. He wrote, like, the coolest intro ever, but we haven't had a chance to actually record. Yeah. But basically, we'll have a snippet. Air Beyond opens up. We'll even have an outro. But with how YouTube's editor works, it will not let me put different clips in.
And I'll be honest, it's not very good.
No, it's not.
It's really not.
And then as soon as you finish editing, it's like, hey, I need 4 hours to process this. I'm like, what?
Gee, thanks.
But, no, it's been going good. All things considered.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to what we can do with it in the new year. I know it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some things with my job have changed. I'm sure there are things in your life that are starting
school again.
Yeah, so it'll be us trying to figure out and navigate all that, but it'll work out. It's not like we're popping this stuff out like every other day.
No. Because
that's kind of unreasonable, but hopefully we have a few episodes a month, you know. So, but yeah. It's been a busy holiday.
It has been. A lot has happened.
It's like a video that I've seen. You know Ryan George?
Yeah.
We did a video where all the months are like mad at December because he's hogging all the good holidays.
That's right. But November gets like one of them, you know?
Yeah. And Thanksgiving it feels just like Christmas without the presents at times.
Yeah. And here's my thing. People are like, oh, you can't celebrate, you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas at the same time. I'm like, says who? Because I do.
I mean,
I'm a Christmas tree on Halloween kind of guy. You know
these are the people that every Sunday will go to like Golden Corral or go to Hibachi and have a buffet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're having Thanksgiving every Sunday. What are you talking about? but
that's funny.
But yeah, it's one of those. November and December you have to be careful because if you're not by January you'll look like a completely different person.
Yep.
You will be huge.
That's one thing I've been real careful about. I mean, I'm sure I've shared with you a few of my medical struggles I've had this year. I don't know if I've shared it with the podcast at all.
I don't think so.
But basically, I ran into. Let me see. We'll go back. When I was 17 years old, I was huge into weight training. I was a big dude, really strong. Well, one day when I was bench pressing, I messed up my shoulder. And I'm still dealing with shoulder issues to this day. But I've been in the gym in and out since then, I love working out. Well, I was running into an issue. My sugar kept crashing. Like, I was almost passing out while working out. Not fun, right?
Yeah.
And I was just frustrated with myself because I've always been heavier, but I've always tried to do good about what I eat, working out, things like that. I might not look it, but I do my best to actually take care of myself. Well, I started a process of elimination. I cut gluten from my diet, and I've cut dairy for the most part. And I've lost almost 15 pounds already.
Nice.
I feel great for the first time in a long time. My joints still hurt because of the shoulder, like this one. If I held it up to the microphone, you could hear it pop. But I got most of it figured out, got blood work done. I'm healthy. I'm doing okay. It's just there's some things I want to take care of, you know? But all things considered, it's been...
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, there's a lot of times where I have like shoulder/back issues as well. I think it's the different shoulder though. It's the shoulder. Yours is that shoulder.
See, together we could be like a crippled. What were they? The Megazord from Power Rangers.
Instead of all the good strong pieces, you get all the bad.
It's just creaking parts. And just. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have the snap, crackle, and pop.
Nah, there's something like. There's something like right there.
If I go. Let me see if that. Oh yeah, you definitely heard it.
That sounds bad. Oh.
Not fun.
Nah, but I have like back. It's like my back's slightly curved, but also I think.
Oh, you have scoliosis?
Kind of, I guess. But it's because of my hip. My hip's misaligned, and it kind of just messed everything else up.
Is one leg longer than the other because of that?
I don't think so, but it sure feels like it sometimes.
Interesting.
But
I can imagine that would be painful.
Yeah, it is painful. I went to the chiropractor. It didn't really do anything. I mean, it did help. And
but then a week later, right?
Yeah, it doesn't stay. I will say that it did improve work the way it was, but it never completely got better. And from what it seems like, I may have been born with a smaller space in one of the back parts of for the vertebrae.
Okay.
There's like a squishy substance in your vertebrae. Not trying to be nasty or anything, but if sometimes it's closed too much, the squishy stuff gets pushed out and it presses on a nerve.
Well, that doesn't sound fun.
So I have one of those in one of my vertebrae, and I think it's possible that it just may have been thinner. It may have always been that way. So that so I was doomed from the start. It's unfair, you know. I never had a chance, you know. But oops. Sound warning.
Yeah.
If any of you can still hear after that.
Yeah, your ears are probably bleeding.
Yeah.
Kicked it.
It's like 11, but it's out of the nose instead of the ears. But yeah. Just try to get over it, I guess. But I have to be careful with lifting with heavy weights.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like really bad.
Never ego lift. That is my only word of advice here. Work out as much as you want. Don't ego lift. You will destroy yourself.
Yeah, there's some guys, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to hit like 6 or 7 reps. And then they feel awful, but they want to pretend that they don't. They are not going to be able to lift anything by the time they're like 35. Like, it's crazy to do that.
It is.
Anyways.
Well, what we mainly wanted to talk about today was testimonies, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we talked about before. And you guys, if you have anything that you want to talk about, put it down below.
Yeah, and even if you're catching this live stream after it's been live, put messages in here. We regularly check our chat room. I'm really curious to see if that person about the Christmas post watched the Christmas video.
Probably not. Probably a troll. But I hope so. By the way, if you don't know what we're talking about, whole Christmas episode where we talked about it. It's 2 hours long. If you got a long car ride, put that thing on. You'll be fine. The Lord will protect you as you listen. That's not a promise.
Lord willing.
But Lord willing. But just as with the recently a guy commented on one of her posts, if you have any thoughts or anything like that, or something that you would like to hear our perspective of, we can designate a whole episode to talk about.
Absolutely.
Depending on what it is, we can even talk about it now.
Yeah.
But we were going to talk about, testimonies. I believe we talk a lot more off camera than we do on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of topics with really good conversations that y'all haven't heard before, but we're not like, what is the term? We're not constantly live all the time. Like, it's not something in my mind to record everything that I ever do.
No, it's like a once every few weeks or so.
Yeah.
Does life be busy?
Yeah. But testimonies are pretty interesting.
They are.
Yeah.
Every Christian's got one. I hear so often, or too often, I should say, is you find these Christians who have been walking with Christ probably since they were children, and they're like, "My testimony isn't cool. I don't have a good testimony." I'm like, "Hold on, you've been walking with Christ this whole time? That, in my opinion, is a cooler testimony than some of the others I've heard. Where I was drinking and smoking until I was 50, then I gave my life to Jesus, and now
Yeah, somebody who's been like 60 years, so like completely clean, never drank alcohol. All it's been a Christian faithful their entire life.
Exactly.
It's impressive.
That is a really cool story, especially if it's a legacy kind of thing where it was their parents or grandparents that really poured into them, and they found that one-on-one relationship with God.
Yep.
I'm talking the testimonies where people actually know where their faith is. It's not because their grandma or their grandpa or their mom or their dad. It's because they had a personal encounter with Jesus and accepted Him as their Lord and Savior. So that's something we kind of wanted to talk about today. Who wants to go first, I guess, is the best question to ask. I don't mind going first if you
I will
want
let
me
you
to.
go first because I got to think about how I want to actually go about it.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
So my story, we've got 15 minutes on the clock. I think we can make this happen.
Yeah.
So the short story long is probably the best way to put it, is I got saved around the age 4 or 5. I remember my moment of realizing that I was a sinner in need of a Savior because all these bad things I'd done, even as a 5-year-old, I realized there was nothing I could do to fix that, and I needed Jesus because Jesus could take that away from me. And from then I started walking with Him. Now, my parents were in the church. My dad was a pastor, or still is, I guess I should say. We were serving in a little church in North Carolina, and walking with Jesus with all that. But at some point, I think when I was around the age 6, my parents felt a calling to plant a church in one of the states that was basically an unreached people group. Trying to remember how it went about. My dad was in seminary, and one of his friends was also in seminary, and they were just looking at the charts of who in America still needs Jesus, which is weird to think about, right? That there's still some states, or at least back in the early 2000s, that there were some states that still needed Jesus. Well, they were looking into it, and Arizona was the only state that responded back to them because they sent out and reached out to a lot of the different state conventions that we were in. And Arizona responded in one town in Arizona called Buckeye, Arizona. Well, reluctantly, and I say reluctantly because, yes, you want to serve the Lord, but at the same time, it's hard leaving your friends and family. But we moved to Arizona. It was supposed to only be, I think, a 2-year trip at the most.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't know if you're familiar with church planting, but the whole concept is it's a mission field. We were missionaries. You go to somewhere. It could be stateside, it could be overseas, it could be whatever it is. And you go in, you establish a church, meaning you get a body of believers together to worship God, and you find someone to become their pastor. And then you make sure that's all good to go, kind of like Paul would do in the Bible.
Right.
Make sure they've got leadership, and then you move on to the next project. Well, that took about 16 years to get established. So I grew up in Arizona. My struggle was we got uprooted from my friends, my family, my cousins, everyone in North Carolina and moved to a desert where I knew nobody. And that was difficult. It felt like for those of you who have read Exodus, you know the story of the Israelites wandering through the desert.
Yeah.
There were moments I was just sitting there like, God, why? It wasn't that I didn't love the people there, and we got to see a lot of people turn to Christ. I take no credit for that. That was all God. But we got to be used for that, and I'm grateful. But at the same time, it was a struggle, right? Because I'm sitting there. I have no friends, no family. The friends we had, if you're in a church leadership position, a lot of people treat you differently. I'm not saying they treat you bad, but there's always that barrier of, oh, they're the really churchy people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a struggle, and I was just pleading to God, why have you put me out here in a desert to be alone? I won't sugarcoat it. I dealt with depression, anxiety, a lot of different things because of it. Well, I was praying to God, why is this happening? It felt like a Job moment in a way, just all the things of the world crumbling down on me. And I went to sleep that night, and at the time I didn't put a lot of merit into modern visions because you didn't hear of it much. But I now realize I was wrong in that. But he showed me a vision.
Okay.
So I'm going to take us back. Again, we're going to time travel a little bit to kind of get a narrative for you, if that's
Okay.
all right. So when I was about 6 years old, before we moved, me and my family went hiking up in South Carolina to go see some waterfalls. Well, on the way back, I slipped and fell off one of the bridges. It was a pretty high bridge. I'm sure I've told you this story.
I don't know. I don't remember it.
Oh, really?
So
well,
this might be a first.
it might be a first then. If you see me in person, I've got some scars on my face. They're hidden by the beard now.
Okay.
Basically, I fell off the bridge. I landed on my feet. But because of the inertia, and I was a really small 6-year-old, I smacked up against a concrete water drain. So, knocked me out. My face was all scratched up on this side. And it just wasn't great. My dad was in the military as well. He runs down. He's trying to wake me up. I woke up a few times, but they put me in an ambulance. The IV failed a few times, so I'm deathly afraid of like IVs. I can do shots, blood drawn and needles, all that. I don't like it. Anyways, the doctor, if I remember the story properly, they did CAT scans on me. That's the big brain scan, you know. And the doctor was saying things aren't looking good. More than likely, I was going to be blind in my left eye because of the impact. And it looked like there was swelling on my brain, which meant best case scenario, brain damage. Worst case scenario, probably wasn't going to make it.
Right.
Like, things weren't great. Well, my parents, who were strong believers, and this was before text messages were really a thing, they started calling all their family members they knew that were prayer warriors. Now, I had some family that were missionaries in India that somehow heard about it. People around the world were praying for me, and within, I think, an hour, swelling went down and I woke up. I don't know if they deemed it a coma yet, but I was unconscious.
Yeah.
And that moment was pretty cool for my parents because I don't remember much of it. I've been told stories about it. But my dad was pleading to God for my life. And I woke up, right? Well, the reason I tell you this story is when I was at my lowest point in Arizona asking God, why have you put me here? He showed me that bridge. And I heard an audible voice here, remember who you are and remember what I've done for you. It didn't just end at that bridge. Then I was brought to the foot of the cross and reminded that there was an ultimate price paid for me. And that was through Jesus' sacrifice on the cross to pay for my sins, something I could never get rid of on my own. He paid that for me, but he also spared me that day on the bridge. So because of that, and because I still have breath in my lungs, I still have purpose in my life. So I wish I could tell you I've never struggled with anxiety or depression ever again. But I have. But I always remind myself that God is in control and he's still got purpose and a plan for my life because of all the things he's done. And he does for everyone. And that's something I like to tell people who are struggling. If you got breath in your lungs, he's got a purpose for you. You don't have to fall off a bridge to realize that. He loves you very much and sent his own son to die for you. So that's kind of been my walk after that. A few years later, we ended up moving to back to North Carolina, and I serve as a youth minister at a church in North Carolina. I won't tell you what area for good reason. But, yeah, it's been good. My walk with Christ has been a wonderful experience. But, I mean, I'm sure you would agree with me, it's rarely easy, but it's good.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
That's
and I'm sticking to it.
You should have gone second is what I think. That's crazy. I didn't know any of that.
I'm sorry. I really thought I told you.
Well, I think I've heard bits of it before.
Okay.
But I don't know if you've ever mentioned the vision part.
I don't tell a lot of people,
but that's pretty cool. That's a good reminder, and that's pretty awesome.
God is good.
That's pretty awesome. Well, trying to think of it because it's hard like to not want to undermine, like you said, some of the things that people who grew up in the church,
right,
how they think about things. So, because as far as I can remember, it's really hard to remember a time where I specifically know that I was saved.
Right.
Because I was told that I had said the Lord's Prayer when I was a kid. And by the way, the Lord's Prayer, you can say it till you're blue in the face. You have to believe it, right?
Exactly. It's not magic words that get you into heaven. Like,
right.
God, I said the words.
Fireball! And you're saved. But I do remember when I was a kid, one day saying, I don't think I've ever actually made this decision. And so I remember making that decision for myself.
Yeah.
And then repeatedly throughout my life, that's something that happened. But I do, without getting into details, I didn't really have the greatest surroundings as a kid. And so that affected me a lot mentally.
Mm.
And so I started to view this idea of forgiveness. Even though I had grown up listening to it and understanding it, it was hard to understand forgiveness, because when way I grown up, it was very hard to deserve forgiveness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I guess. So I hooked on this idea of the unforgivable sin, right?
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
then it kind of bled into everything else, to the point where every time that I felt like I had made a mistake, I felt like I couldn't be forgiven. It was very strange.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
very strange. And this went all the way up to like college. I didn't realize how much it was actually affecting my mind.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to going to college and taking these religion courses that really, despite one of the professors claiming to be Christian, he was very much basically not. He said that he was a Christian, but also he said that the Bible doesn't say Jesus is God, that the writers of the Bible were written 200, 300 years after Christ had lived, and stuff like that. Crazy.
Have you ever read John or like the Dead Sea Scrolls or any of that?
He was a PhD. So it was really weird.
They'll just give those out now.
They just give them out, man. He just printed them off. Like, he went to like...
What was it? Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. What was his pharmacist, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like he printed off a coupon and just started teaching. But and I'm not trying to make fun of it, because I respect everybody that I've ever learned from. Because even though I didn't learn the things I should have, I still learned a lot of the arguments and things.
Fair enough. That's a good point.
Now I'm much more educated in that because of that. But I remember being very, very, very down on my luck in terms spiritually, and I used to hate myself a lot. And so as I've gotten older, I can see how that's really just gotten out of my system.
Well, that's good.
I don't no longer think about myself like that. But I remember when I really, really needed it, God sent people my way, and I found a church that I went to, church I still go to now. And I learned about Christian apologetics.
Good stuff.
And so that really changed my life in the sense of I started to dive into the Word in a way that before I kind of felt like I couldn't trust it.
Okay.
And then I started to realize that it's reliable. Everything about it is reliable. Historically, it's such a reliable thing to have, and to be able to read the Gospels and know that all of these things happened. They're written by eyewitness accounts. They're historically accurate, and so many things that they write down they would not have known unless they were there.
Exactly.
So all of those things helped to encourage and strengthen my faith, but also was reminded of God's forgiveness as well. So there was an evangelist throughout my life that I remember seeing. And he had this weird thing. Not going to say what denomination he was. But he had this weird thing where when I would like pray to God about something, it's almost like God would give him the exact thing that I was thinking of. And he would like say something like related to what I was thinking. I'll give you an example. Because I know we're trying to keep on track with time.
No, you're fine if we go a little over.
But like there was the chapel at the school that I went to. You're probably familiar with what school I'm talking about. For high school. He did one of the chapels, and I was really struggling around that time with this idea of forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so people were being really just all over. Even people that were not Christians were going to the altar because they felt like there was this emotional conviction. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it was like a massive thing. It was surprising. So all these people are standing before the altar, and I was struggling even to think whether God was real, which was foolish. I knew God was real. But it was like I was doubting myself so much that I was like, I
could see that, yeah.
How could God be real if it was just this weird mindset that I was in. And I remember saying, well, God, if you're real, I want everybody at this altar to just get on their knees and worship you. And so the evangelist, literally, I didn't say it, I just thought it. And as soon as I thought it, the guy said, the Lord is telling me that every one of you, all of us should get on our knees and pray. And every single person, the people in my class, the bullies, the jerks, the people who mocked God on a day-to-day basis, they all got on their knees. It was such a profound moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so back to when I was at college, I thought about it. This guy was in town. And I thought to myself, what are the chances that I go to this guy and I get some sort of revelation from God that way? I don't encourage you to always put your faith and focus into one person.
Right.
It's not my goal. And I'm doing this more off the cuff. I didn't really have this planned when I'm talking about this. But I was struggling with forgiveness. I didn't really know what to do. I said, God, if you can't forgive me, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I can stand to live with this guilt. And I couldn't get rid of this guilt of feeling like I was just unforgivable. Mm-hmm. So went to this service with the same guy, and went to the altar, and the guy was praying over different people. I didn't know what I was expecting, but I was just like, God, I just need one more time in my life to have a message from you, just one more time, if nothing else, just this one more time, and I will not forget it. And so he came up to me and he basically called me out and told me what I had been thinking, how I've been feeling. Mm-hmm. Told me that I had been even contemplating taking my life in the mm-hmm. sense of like talking about not wanting to live and stuff mm-hmm. like that. And so after that point, it was like an encouragement and a wake-up call to say that I have not forsaken you, I have not abandoned you. And ever since then, that idea, God will not forsake me, God will not abandon me, that's something that I've held true, because it also happened to be what was read at my high school graduation by somebody completely different that had no idea. But the same exact scripture, and that scripture's kind of followed me the rest of my life, where I can trust in God and His promises, and that the gospel is true, and that His heart is big enough to forgive. So that's kind of my bits and pieces of, I guess, a testimony for me.
Oh, that's good.
So
kind of seems like we've struggled with some similar things and some not so similar things.
Yeah.
But that kind of sums up the Christian walk, does it not? We've all got similarities, and we've all got serious differences at times.
Yeah.
But God brings us together to sharpen each other and grow us closer to Him. Therefore, we can tell people about Him. So, thank you for sharing that, my friend.
Yes. Hopefully that was
great. I mean, you say that it was nothing like mine, but I would say yours was really cool too, because in both stories, God was working.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of everything, right? You can find in people's walk, well, you'll find evidence of a Christian through their life and their walk. Like you struggled or you sought to find Him even in your dark days. Mm-hmm. That kind of shows that you were always hungry for Him, no matter what. Even when you had doubts, even when you had struggles, you constantly sought after the Lord. And I think that's commendable.
And it's also important to note that if you want to hear from, you want God to be in your life, or to make Himself known in your life, and you're not really sure where you stand on it, you have to make the decision to seek Him on His terms. And if you do, He will show Himself.
Exactly.
And I think both of our stories show that God will meet you. God will remind you. God will be there when you need Him. Mm-hmm. But you actually have to have your heart open to Him. Yeah. He's not going to force Himself on you. And there are some rare occurrences, like you meet Paul.
Yes.
Yes. And God had a calling on his life, and God knew that when He revealed to him the truth, he would turn and he would be this great apostle, right? But God's not trying in the business to make apostles out of people who don't want to be apostles just for the sake of it. Mm-hmm. He's going to call you with the amount of calling that He knows that you're going to be receptive to. And you have to have the openness and willingness to be like, okay, I'm going to obey you.
Yeah.
Even as a Christian.
Absolutely.
Even as a Christian, we have to be obedient.
There's going to be times He's going to ask you to do some things you don't want to do. It could be going to Arizona. It could be going to your neighbor across the street and talking to him about Him. Always be willing. You don't want to end up like Jonah. I think one of the best ways I've ever heard it summed up, and one of the ways I like to say it is, when God tells you His plan, you have two options. You can go willingly, or you can go being drugged, kicking, and screaming. And I'd rather go willingly.
Right.
Because, look at Jonah. He didn't want to do it. He ran from God. and God sent a fish to swallow him up. He ended up doing what God told him to do.
Yep. I like to think about it this way, where God's got a plan and a purpose and a will, and He asks you and invites you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that's not like a pressure of like, oh no, I have to do this. It's an opportunity.
It's a get to.
It's a get to, not a have to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So God is giving us, just like when He says that we get to be a part of His kingdom, we get to be His children. This is a blessing.
Yes,
this is a gift. And so the fact that God allows us to be a part of that is something that we should look forward to. We should be happy about. And yeah, it's not always going to be comfortable. It's not always going to be fun in the moment.
No.
But the eternal benefits of that are something that you can't replace, and that's a relationship with God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think we've covered what we wanted to. Seeing no other chats, was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
If it was, it'd probably be another 30 minutes of talking about it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, would you like to close us in prayer then?
Sure. Dear Lord, thank you for this time that we have to talk about your word and what you've done for us. Thank you for reminding us that you are a loving, good God who sees our situations and is not distant when those things happen. Rather, you're present. You're present when we make mistakes. You're present when we feel alone. Even when we don't see you working, Lord, we know that you're there. And so I pray, God, that for anybody that watches this video, anybody that's currently watching it, God, you would use this as a reminder that what you're doing in their lives is unique. But also, God, you offer the same promises that you offered me, that you've offered Jonathan, that you've offered any other Christian, that you are with them, that you love them, you will never forsake them or leave them, and that, God, you have a purpose and a plan for them. So I pray, God, that you would help us in the new year to be reminded of those things and to be willing to obey whatever you have for us to do, and to follow you, spread the gospel just as you've called us to do. If there's nothing else we're sure of, we know that is our calling. So Lord, help us to do that. Bless this podcast and protect us as we go into this next new year. Pray these things, Lord, in your name.